Thank you very much, Bill, and thank you, Gerard, and thank you everyone for attending here this morning, and good morning. There's definitely energy in the room here, as Bill had mentioned. It's a tremendous honor, let me say this, it is a tremendous honor for me to join you here this morning on what I think is a very important gathering for not only our province, our nation, but for the entire world. And I want to just begin by thanking Gerard and Bill and your teams for organizing this summit for the first time ever in North America. Thank you so very much for And let me just confirm with all of you that you've come to the right place. You most certainly have come to the right place. I understand many of you had some tours yesterday of what we have to offer here in Saskatchewan with the synchrotron, with the food center. I had some engagement with our Bob's University, the University of Saskatchewan, my institution that I had the opportunity to attend so many years ago with Bill in the College of Agriculture there. I won't say how many years ago, but many. And let me say that Saskatchewan is and wants to continue to be a key player in the explosive growth of plant protein production that we are seeing around the world, the demand for plant protein production and the ultimate supply. I'm going to talk about that in a moment, but let me just take a moment to properly welcome each of you to the province on behalf of myself and my colleagues in the government of Saskatchewan and all of the people that live in this province that we serve, that welcome you here today. We're so pleased that you're able to visit Saskatoon and Saskatchewan. It's a beautiful time of year. The weather is great, as Bill said. Winter is finally over here. We came through an in particularly cold winter this year. Mosquito season hasn't yet begun, so you're here at absolutely the perfect time. It's truly a great time to be in our province, and it's a busy time for our agricultural industry. Our seeding is still underway in many parts of the province, but we are more than 70% seeded here. Our seeding is completed here in the province, and we'll be completing likely maybe even while you're here this week. So we are now hoping for a little bit of moisture in Saskatchewan so that we can get that crop off to a good start, and we're keeping our fingers crossed as we always do here in this province. In this province and around the world, we often take those operations of seeding and harvest for granted because we do them each and every year, but we really shouldn't. We really shouldn't. In economic terms, these two operations are equivalent of quite the mega project, if you will, wherever they occur. Last year in this province, for example, our seeding operation involved our ag producers in Saskatchewan investing about $6 billion in the 3-4 weeks that it took to put our crop in the year in the ground, and invested that amount of money in inputs only into last year's crop. Any way you look at that, look at this, any way you look at agriculture, it's a strong pillar of our provincial economy, our national economy, and we are so very grateful for the work that our primary producers do here in Saskatchewan, not only in the direct work they do, but the participation that they do in innovating our industry at the primary production level. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the objectives of this conference is to examine how we can continue to feed a world population that continues to grow, and to do so in a healthy, affordable, and environmentally sustainable manner. And I think we're well on our way to doing that. In fact, we are doing that in many cases. Our province, we feel, has a crucial role and a responsibility in this honorable undertaking as we are a research and an agricultural research powerhouse. And I want to talk a little bit about that today, and I want to discuss why I'm confident that we can continue to meet the challenges that come from a continuing growing population in this world. And I'm very optimistic about where we are in Saskatchewan and where we are in Canada and North America and around the world. And I think most of us in this province are equally optimistic. But it isn't always cool to be optimistic. When you read the news today, it isn't always stylish to always look on the bright side or the upside, or to have faith in our innovators here in Saskatchewan and around the world. Many years ago, there was a fellow named John Stuart Mill, and he observed, and I quote, "It is not the man who hopes when others despair, but the man who despairs when others hope who is admired as a sage," end quote. All too often in our world today, it's cool to be gloomy. There are many examples of this. We know Here's one that pertains to the business that's pertinent to this conference. About 50 years ago, there was a professor named Paul Irwin. He became famous publishing a book that was called The Population Bomb. Some of you may recall it. In The Population Bomb, Professor Ehrlich made this unequivocal pronouncement. And I quote again, "The battle to feed all of humanity is over. In the 1970s, hundreds of millions of people will starve to death in spite of any crash programs embarked on now," end quote. In other words, from a food security perspective, in the 1970s, we were doomed. That was a prediction in 1968. Well, it turned out to be about as accurate as some other predictions that were made. For example, the telephone has too many shortcomings to be seriously considered as a meaningful means of communication. Certainly didn't turn out to be true. Another prediction that was made is there's absolutely no chance that the iPhone will get a significant portion of market share. Well, that didn't occur either. Nor did Professor Irwin's prediction. We hear a prediction here in Canada that each and every year, it usually comes in October, that each and every year the Toronto Maple Leafs are likely going to win our 11th Stanley Cup. That also never happens. That's maybe a little bit of a low blow coming from an Oilers fan that hasn't won almost equally as long. The fact of the matter is Professor Ehrlich was wrong. Wasn't just wrong, he was spectacularly wrong. We must remember this. In 1968, the food supply in 34 of 152 countries that were surveyed at that time amounted to 34 of 152 countries had less than 2,000 calories per person. In 2013, they surveyed 173 countries. They found that just two had a food supply that contained less than 2,000 calories per person per day. Famine has virtually disappeared while the world's population over that period has doubled. She was spectacularly wrong, no doubt. In this province, in this nation, on this continent of North America and around the world, we have developed a phenomenal capacity to produce food, to produce affordable, sustainable food. And there's no reason for us to think that this progress that we've seen over the last century won't continue into the next. And I feel our province is a symbol of this remarkable progress. We embody it. As Murad Al-Khatib had said, Saskatchewan is not only the world's breadbasket, a major supplier of wheat, oats, and barley, but now we have become the world's protein basket, a major supplier of peas and lentils and chickpeas. Agriculture in our province has been transformed in just a matter of a couple of decades, and we are well positioned to continue to help feed a growing world. In 1987, our farmers planted just under 800,000 acres of pulse crops of peas and lentils and chickpeas. In 2018, just last year, we planted 5.6 million acres, up about 700%. Pulse production in that same time period from 1987 to 2018 increased from under half million tons is where we're going, 500,000 tons of pulse crops to about 4 million tons, an 800% increase in production. Last year, we exported about $1.8 billion worth of pulses around the world, about just under 4 million metric tons. We're down a little bit due to some market challenges that we have in key markets, but even with that, Saskatchewan is the leading Canadian province when it comes to the production and export of lentils, of peas, and chickpeas. We are the world's largest exporter of peas and lentils. Just last year, we were responsible for 43% of the world's lentil exports from this province with 1.2 million people. 32% of the world's pea exports came from here. As I said at the outset, you've certainly come to the right place today. Our soil in Saskatchewan is healthier because we are incorporating peas and lentils and chickpeas into our crop rotation. As you know, they fix nitrogen. Our carbon footprint is lower because they fix nitrogen. When you combine growing pulse acres here in this province with the widespread use and innovation of zero-till technology, we now in this province have a crop agricultural industry that is carbon neutral. And I'm not aware of anywhere else in the world that is actually able to make that claim. We're very proud of that. In addition to this, the rise of pulses in Saskatchewan has spurred tremendous growth in our food processing sector, and this is the next opportunity that we have in this province and in this world. Food manufacturing sales have doubled here in the last decade. We have now more than 300 companies that are active today in our communities across Saskatchewan, employing people that live here, providing food for the world. Notable among those, of course, is companies like AGT Food Ingredients, one of Canada's great business success stories, based right here out of Saskatchewan. Smaller companies like Three Farmers, the makers of tasty lentil stacks, of course, are doing well. These companies have forged strong links with, as I said before, our research institutions across the province that are at the core of our success and our innovation. In fact, our research community is the catalyst for many of the advancements in what we can describe as the plant protein ecosystem in our province. Many of you have toured, as I said, the Saskatchewan Food Industry Development Center, what we call the food center here in the province. We have made a significant investment, which you would have seen in the food center, the place where they make peas taste like whole pork, if you can believe that. The food center is well known for its toll processing capacity, its world-class extrusion technologies, and it has special expertise working with our pulse proteins, of which are important to each of us in this room. It also provides critical support for our processing industry here in the province in areas of skills development, of food safety education, and training and quality assurance. And we're thankful for what they provide. You visited the Canadian Light Source Synchrotron yesterday, which recently received a major funding boost from our federal government, of which we are grateful for. The Global Institute for Food Security, located at the university, whose mission is to pursue transformative innovation to improve food security, not just for us in Saskatchewan, but for our neighbors around the world. We have the Crop Development Center at the University of Saskatchewan, which has developed more than 400 new commercial crop varieties, including more than 100 pulse varieties. Crop Development Center was where the legendary Al Slinker did his research. He developed the Laird lentil and the Eston lentil, and again, I'm dating myself a bit, but he was a professor at the university when I attended. I believe Bill was there at that time as well, as I said, many years ago. But he was a legend then, he was a mentor then, he was a role model then, and he continues to be a legend and a role model today. Of course, there's Protein Industries Canada, and I know Bill is going to talk about Protein Industries Canada and how they will bring us into the years ahead in this industry that is so important to Saskatchewan and the world. Ladies and gentlemen, our government has made agricultural research a priority. We've invested significantly. We've invested in research, and we will continue to invest in research as long as we have the privilege of serving the people of this province. We have also worked to create a supportive environment for investment in this province. We continue to make every effort to ensure that our taxes are as low as possible and our regulations are simple and sensible. We continually look for ways to cut red tape for people to invest in this province. We provide competitive incentives. For example, last year we introduced the Saskatchewan Value-Added Agricultural Incentive. It's a non-refundable, non-transferable tax credit on capital costs for newly constructed or expanded value-added agricultural facilities in this province. We designed the incentive to be stackable with other incentives that we have. We want your business in this province. 2 years ago, we also introduced the Saskatchewan Commercial Innovation Incentive that can be stacked with the Value-Added Agricultural Incentive. This patent box style incentive is the first of its kind in North America, and it helps make Saskatchewan one of the best jurisdictions to commercialize your intellectual property. Folks, we truly believe that Saskatchewan has a stable, competitive environment that companies need so that they may invest and expand. And more than that, our government is totally committed to advancing the interests of our agricultural and our food processing sectors. Let me assure you here today that we are on the same page. We are completely aligned when it comes to this conversation. We share your confidence, we share your optimism, and we share your faith in the future. In closing, let me close with with this. You may be interested to know that Professor Paul Ehrlich, the gloomy professor I talked about earlier, he's still alive. Hopefully he's not here. Because he's still issuing dark prophecies of doom. Last year, Professor Ehrlich, thankfully, Bob, I had much more bright professors than this. Last year, Professor Ehrlich said the collapse of civilization is near certainty within decades. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Paul Ehrlich was wrong 50 years ago. He's wrong today. He's most certainly wrong today. And one of the best places in the world for us to prove him wrong is right here